In this video, we're taking a look at a new Vornado air circulator or fan that I recently got. It's from their new Energy Smart line, and it is called this model number is the Vornado 633DC. For those of you who have been subscribers to my channel for a while, several years ago, I posted a review of the Vornado 660 fan, and I'll post that right up here on the right, so you can refer to that if you'd like. That fan has served me well over the last several years. And, you know, the Vornado fans really do work really well. They don't actually call them fans. They call them whole room air circulators. And because of the unique design of them, they can have a smaller fan that actually moves a lot of air. And I find that these things really do work to the point where a lot of times you don't even need to have air conditioning on or anything like that. And it can really feel really cool in the room, almost like air conditioning. And it can also circulate the air in the room quite well, even though the fan itself is not, real large. But when Vornado came out with this new series called the Energy Smart series, I really was interested because it has some new features that are really pretty great over prior versions of Vornado fans. So let's talk about that. The first one that you'll notice is it has a variable speed control. So let me turn that up here. So you can see as I turn it up and down, the fan ramps up and slows down. So that's really nice because the prior fan that I had, the Vornado 660, only had 4 set speeds that you can do. And I found that even on the lowest speed, sometimes it was a little bit too loud for me to be able to listen to music or watch a movie in the same room, like with it close to me, because you couldn't get it that slow. Whereas this one, you can put it all the way down. And as you can see there, it's still moving air. You can see the fan blades moving, but it is almost nearly silent. Like from 5 feet away, I couldn't even hear anything with it on the slow speed. So that's a real plus for me because I like to, listen to music, watch movies, things like that with the fan on, but not have to hear it. And so it's running at a slower speed than I could get before on prior versions. And at the same time, it's still circulating air through the room. So, you're still feeling a little bit of a breeze. Also, if you're somebody who likes to sleep with the fan on, but you don't want to hear any kind of fan noise, you can point this to you while you're asleep and you won't hear anything on the low speed. So that's really cool. Yeah. So let's go through some of the speeds and just you can hear kind of how loud it is. I'm purposely using the on-camera microphone, not any kind of special microphone or anything, so you can kind of get a sense of a realistic sound level. So right now we're on the lowest. And I don't know if you can even hear anything. It's almost silent, but I'll go ahead and ramp the speed up and then you can kind of get a sense of how loud it is. On the highest speed, it does get quite loud, but it really moves a lot of air on the highest speed. All right, so that's the highest speed right there. And yeah, it's really putting out quite a bunch of air there. And then you can lower it down, and it has like basically 99 different speeds that you can do. So you can really tailor it, to the speed that you want. And then of course you can turn it off. The other nice thing about the Energy Smart line is that you can actually attach a switch to it and turn it on and off, which is nice. My prior Vornado, you could only turn off, but then when you power it back on with a switch, like a smart switch or a remote switch, it wouldn't turn on. You'd actually have to physically go to the back of the unit and press the button to turn it on. Whereas this one can turn on and off with a switch, which is something that I really like. So I can be across the room and just turn it on with a remote if I want to, or smart plug or something like that. So that's really nice. The other thing is because the Energy Smart Vornado line uses the DC motors tend to be a lot smaller and lighter, and that makes for a lighter unit as well. Just to pick up, it's much lighter. And also you have a handle here on the back too, so that's new. That's different too. You can just grab this and pick it up. But it might be a little hard to see in this video, but you can see the motor in there. It's just smaller and lighter than prior Vornados. And here's the side view of it. It's a good looking fan. And you still have the full range of angles. You can angle it any which way you want. You can even angle it all the way straight up if you want, like straight up and down. And this straight up angle actually works really well in the wintertime, because what that does is it helps blow some of the hot air that's hovering in your ceiling, like above you. It helps blow that down, so then you'll actually feel warmer in the wintertime, and it'll make your heat more efficient as well. So that's kind of a cool tip for you with regards to the Vornados. The other thing about this particular model, the 633DC, and this may be one of the only ones currently that has this particular feature, it has the switching mode power supply built into the base. So you can see that it just has a cable going right into there. Some of the other DC fans that they've come out with in recent years actually have a power supply that has a separate box that's, you know, like right here, like a big box, whereas this one is just the plug. So that's another benefit of this one over other models, like the, I think 610 DC doesn't have the power supply built into the base. It has a separate, you know, power supply. That's a little less convenient. It's kind of nice to have it built in. So the 633 model is really good in that respect. And the other thing about this line is it has a 10-year satisfaction guarantee warranty, as you can see right there on the box. So it's supposed to be a much more reliable motor and a more reliable fan. And you know, a 10-year warranty to me is almost unprecedented for consumer stuff these days. So that's, you know, really pretty good. And you know, the price of this fan isn't that much more than what I paid several years ago for my Vornado 660. Now the prices do fluctuate, so to check the price, check my affiliate link in the description field below for the best price, you know, from Amazon. But I think it's totally worth the money. In terms of the amount of air that this fan moves, to me it seems just about equal to the Vornado 660, although it's a little bit of a smaller fan and it's not quite rated quite as high in terms of the maximum CFM that it can output. But in my experience, it seems to output about the same just from my usage of the fan. And then the fact that I can, you know, run it lower than the 660 if I want to is just really a nice feature, and just have it run lower and quieter. And then the fact that it's lighter and it's got the back handle and it's more ergonomic and easier to take around with you. It has an infinite number of you know, speed controls on the dial, and it can also be turned on and off with a remote switch. All that stuff really makes it worth the upgrade for me. Again, I've been very happy with my prior Vornado fan. It really does perform well and helps move the air and helps keep things cooler in the summer, and will save you energy even if you have air conditioning. You can typically, in the summertime, turn your air conditioning up higher to a higher temperature and use one of these and still feel comfortable, because it is circulating the cool air around for you much better than without having the Vornado. And as you see here, this grill is not just for looks. It's designed to get the air out in a more comfortable and more efficient way. And then their fan blades are very thick fan blades as well. If I turn this off and we let it spin down, you can kind of get a sense of that. We'll let that spin down, but you can kind of see the design. The whole design of this fan is to, you know, make the air flow as efficiently as possible. The person who founded Vornado, I believe in Kansas, Andover, Kansas, was originally a designer of airplanes. So he's an avionics engineer, basically. But yeah, you can see the fan blades in here are really thick. Might be a little hard to see in the video, but they're designed specifically to work with the overall, you know, fan design. And it's almost like an airplane turbine or something like that. So it moves air, you know, much more efficiently than just like normal fans. So I've been very happy with the Vornado fans that I've owned in the past, and this one is certainly no exception. I think I'm going to be quite happy with this one as well. And I really do like all these new features. And again, you'll notice right away that when you first take it out of the box compared to old versions, it's really a much lighter fan, and you know, and it just seems like more up to date and more modern. And that really, I think, is the case given the fact that it's using now a new DC motor versus an AC motor with all these new features. They also have another model that is digital that has a timer and I believe a remote as well. So if that's important to you, you can look into that. That one would have like a button instead and a digital control where you can actually control the speed. But I like to kind of keep things simple and, you know, just have it like this. This is so easy to just control the speed, you know, just with the dial. Usually throughout the course of the day, unless it's extremely hot or I want to move a lot of air for whatever reason, I'll leave it on a medium to low speed like this and just have the air circulating. And it just keeps the room really comfortable. And then, of course, if it's really hot and I want to get more air, I'll just turn it up. So thanks for watching. This has been my look and review of the Vornado 633DC fan from their relatively new Energy Smart line. You can kind of see the Energy Smart label right there. Vornado is an American company, although the fans are made in China, so that's something just to be aware of. But again, they do have customer support, which is based right here in America. And this particular model has the 10-year satisfaction guarantee, which I think is pretty amazing for the price. Again, for pricing and availability, see the description field where I have links, and questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. And I'll see you in my next video. Keep cool, everybody.